That's all it takes, team. Just a little bit of preparation, a little bit of love, right? Just like when your mama cook it for you. That's why your mama's food good, because she loves you. She put time and effort. That's what you got to do for yourself, mate. There's a lot we can draw from my past, but I always like to keep things simple. I always have. I'm not big on my subs, because I just front load the simple basic stuff, right? Like just eating healthy whole food source meals. The more you can prioritize and front load that, the better off you can be. Garlic, olive oil, oregano, Dijon mustard, lemon juice, paprika, salt and pepper, of course. Simple. Alright, pro tip, learn how to use your spices, learn how to mix and change them. Okay. If you're not sure, just look at different cuisines, different cultures, how they cook their food, alright. It's pretty much where this all comes from. But, you see the Italians have their style, the Japanese, alright. And you just pick, right? Pick, mix and match. Alright. The world's your oyster with this stuff, but the main thing is that we're getting healthy sources of protein. We're getting it on the daily, we're getting it consistently, and we're pairing it with whole food carbohydrate sources, okay? I always like to think, you look at your complex carbs, right? Your starchy big carbs, your sweet potato, we call it cocoa in PNG, cocoa. Yep, there's different ones, yellow, purple, you got taro, yam. These are all the islander carbs, alright, complex carbs. That's why the islanders are big and strong, it's because they have these complex carbs in their system and they do a lot of hard work. But nowadays we're just big and fat, But the ones who actually put in the work, you see the genetic gene of our ancestry, and the food that they were putting away was very real, very raw. And you look at all sorts of traditional diets and, whole foods based, nothing's processed, right? This is the modern world we live in today. A lot of processed good. It's all about marketing. It's all about capitalism, all right? People want to make money. They want you to be able to look at something and, part 2 of eating whole foods is you actually have to know how to cook, right? So a lot of you lazy buggers out there, that's who you're going to end up being, a lazy bloke, sitting on his ass. Learn how to cook, my guy, right? That's how you're going to feed your family. That's how you're going to raise your kids. People forget that shit. Anyway, how are your kids going to know how to cook if you're not going to be cooking, Generations of knowledge is just being shattered by just pure laziness and greed because of, I want this, I want that, or this is too hard, or this is easy, I'll order it here, order it there, convenience sake. It's good. Convenience is good, but then what are you sacrificing for your convenience, The majority of the good things in life are always on the other side of hard. So learn how to cook, my brother. Probably take you a year. That's sweet. A year will change your whole life. Most of my cooking skills just come from watching my mother cook, enjoying her meals, watching my old man on the barbie, that sort of stuff. There's no right or wrong. It's just sink or swim. Learn how to do it and add your own taste to it. Life is an experience, a unique experience. Don't try to water it down by trying to be perfect. Alright, the main thing is, if you can look past all the bullshit and understand the real things in life, go a long way. Anyway, I'm talking a fair bit of shit here, but I'll shut up and get these thighs cooking.